Hi everyone, it's Jody Stokes Familetti with Jody Stokes Fitness. We are focusing today on two important body parts, your shoulder girdle and your pelvic girdle. Those two parts, those girdles, hold your spine together. How are we going to protect the spine as we actively age? Through different types of activities that load the spine, protect the spine, and we're going to be working on some hip activities today that help encourage external rotation, actually lubricating that joint area in the shoulder and the hip to help protect them as we move through activities, try to sit, stand, get up off the ground, all of those things that we need to do as we move through life. So stick with me. Starting on the ground today on one elbow, you're going to start with the knees together, then open that top leg open for the clam. You're going to open and close. You're doing external rotation with that hip, but you also want to squeeze that knee on the down, squeeze your core on the down, keeping your spine nice and straight as you're on that elbow. Also make sure that elbow's underneath the shoulder, leaning it all the way down to the abduction on the up, adduction on the down. Make sure you guys are keeping that foot flexed. Squeeze the glute. Everything's about a 10 count today. Bringing that knee down toward the knee that's on the ground, and you're going to press that foot up towards the ceiling. I'm going to give you a quick stretch for that hip and low back area, keeping those knees nice and over. We're going to come back up to the tricep one arm push-up. I show this a lot to my clients. God forbid you fall down, you hurt your left shoulder and your left hip. The only thing that's going to push you off the ground is that opposite elbow. Bringing it on to all fours, then lifting that leg up nice and high. Now we're engaging the glute all the way up through that SI joint. Squeeze the glute and protect your low back. We're doing circles with the legs. This might seem awkward. Try to keep your leg nice and straight and swing it clockwise and counterclockwise for 10. It always seems a little easier to go clockwise. Give yourself a long spinal stretch into child's pose. Keep those arms out in front, stretching out the shoulders, opening those knees. We're going to bring it down into the push-up. Do as many as you possibly can. I always like to open those arms up to about 90 degrees on each side, pulling the abs in, and always stay on your knees if you're not familiar with your push-ups at this point. And a couple is doing well too. Up on that side, we're going to go ahead and open it up into that clam, lift the leg and press it down. You have 10. All the way down, straight leg, keep the foot flexed, squeezing the glute, abduction on the up, adduction on the down. Bringing that knee down at what looks like an awkward angle, but press that leg up towards the ceiling. Give yourself a quick stretch. And trust me, you don't need weights on all of these. You have the body weight of your legs. So just keep your muscles nice and strong and tight. To that one arm push-up, do as many as you can. Taking it to all fours with the straight leg back, nice tight glute, working up through the low back. Keep that foot flexed so your leg stays nice and strong. circle motion. When we talk about lubricating the joint, what we mean by that is those ligaments get tight, not only as we age, but with the same kind of activity. Your body gets immune to certain activities after a while, going to your push-ups. So it's very important to stretch those hips, stretch those ligaments. I'm working the shoulders, the chest, the triceps, and the biceps on the push-up. But we're gonna stretch all the way through as we're done. Opening those knees, giving those hips a stretch, as well as those arms out in front of you. Quick shoulder stretch, but I actually felt this quite a bit in my low back. So it depends on what your activities are throughout the day. But this is a great stretch, nice long spinal stretch all the way up through the cervical vertebrae. From this angle, I want to show you a tricep push-up, because when I do the tricep push-ups, I really try to keep those elbows right next to my body, nice and tight, and that enables me to engage my upper back just a little bit while I'm working on my triceps. If you need a stretch for your shoulders right there, please take one. This is a great bridge with your feet on the wall. Hands by your sides for support. Go ahead and lift and lower your hips off of the floor. It's a slight pelvic tilt if you arch your back. I'm gonna open and close the knees. Again, external rotation with that hip, a little bit of the adductor muscle on the end. You're also working a little of the medial collateral ligament and a little of the lateral collateral on the out. One-legged up if you choose. If not, put your other foot back on the wall, lift and lower. Also, make sure that the foot on the wall is at a 90-degree angle from the floor. Good. We're going to go ahead and give it a nice stretch for that back again. We're going to open up those knees just a little bit. Hold that stretch for the hips. I'm going to do a little bit of a different throw down here. Make sure that your head is down and keep that knee bent, working the lower abs. Also, linear hip work. So you may be feeling this just a little bit in the groin. If so, bend the knees. This is a bent knee reverse curl. Knees come right down by your sides and you're pressing up like you're pushing a big brick up toward the ceiling on the lift. This is a lifted tricep dip. If you're not comfortable with lifting your hips, go ahead and place your hips back onto the floor and just bend and straighten the knees. Big shoulder stretch, but open up that chest, rotate the shoulders back just a little bit. Quick side stretch for that back. From a side, we are going to go ahead and lift that leg up, working even external rotation on that hip, abduction, and a little bit of your waist working into the obliques and intercostals. You're gonna be bending that knee in just a second, and we're gonna be putting that hand behind the head, and we're gonna come in for just a little bit of a lift, side waist work. Switching sides, straight leg up first. To the bent knee, elbow comes toward the knee. We're going to bring it back into a push-up, finishing off here with a push-up. And reach back into child's pose. Push up, reach back. We're going to be warming up our shoulders a little bit more here. In just a couple seconds, you guys are going to be grabbing your really light weights. I like to use light weights for the shoulders. So just press back. If you feel like getting up right now, you can go ahead and get your light weights. And we're going to go ahead and work into some lateral raises and more. Lateral raise, up and down. We're going to work with 8 counts. Squeeze that medial delt on the up for the concentric motion, and squeeze the armpits or the axillary muscle on the down motion, which is the eccentric. Pulling up for an upward row. Really try to get those elbows just a little bit higher than the shoulders. And watch those wrists. Keep those wrists nice and straight. Don't break the wrist. Flipping it up, tapping those weights up at the top if you're able to. In for a pec deck. The goal here is to really try to bring those elbows in and squeeze them, squeezing the chest, working on the medial part of that shoulder. Circles. So be careful with those weights. We want to do circles in and out, nice and easy forward. If you're feeling comfortable, you can do a couple out and a couple in. To the rear delt. I watch my clients do this quite a bit, so try to keep those elbows really close to your waist. Don't let them go back behind your body. Good. External rotation of the arms to the rear delt, medial delt, bicep on the in, tricep on the out. Both arm, anterior delt. If you want to switch it to a one arm, feel free. Good. Go ahead and put those weights down. Stretch your arms up above your head if you'd like to. Okay. From a down motion, leaning back, coming off of the ground. We're going to go all the way down and all the way up 8 times. Posture is crucial here. Wanting to use, of course, the front quad to come up without putting your hands on top of that front quad best you can. Switching legs. Awesome, guys. I want to show you 2 different squats here. Sometimes I go wide and sometimes I bring it in a little narrow. I have some clients who have had some issues with their hips, hip replacements, some other things going on. Sometimes we can take it wide, but most of the time I try to do what I call a skinny squat, bringing the legs just underneath the hip bones
enables my clients to get back. So this is showing this skinny squat where you can keep everything linear and everything a little bit closer to the midline of the body. Quick stretch. Quad stretch, hip flexors stretch. Try to get those knees together. Try to get that foot to your tush. Good. Standing up nice and straight. Then cross the ankle over into a tree pose, and I'm using the wall. So I've got both hands behind my back so that I make sure I'm nice and stable. You always want to try to get that foot out. You try to sit up nice and straight. Switching to the other side. Now you all know that I would hold these stretches for at least a minute for efficacy. So if you have a little more time to hold the stretches, if you're feeling a kind of an uncomfortable tension with it, hold those stretches just a little bit longer. Guys did an awesome job today. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing to my channel. I so appreciate you. And that's it. Be fit.